Homeboys is a lot more technically simpler for them to execute all of that point click ultimate, just go all the way death ball scenarios. So as much as possible, I would want to see Homeboys being able to execute all of that. But of course, when it comes down to the early game scenario, they might be losing out in quite a lot of that. So they gotta have to play it slow and steady and wait for the proper time to actually try to contest for a lot of these objectives. Especially since we are looking at Ling, we can forego all of these objectives. Play for the late stages of the game. Don't allow Chibi to lose his position in the jungle. Try to obtain more of that river control as much as possible.
Yep, this is a match 3, game 1. Homeboys against Team Spirit, the grudge match, the revenge series. Homeboys definitely looking to kind of state their name again, right the wrongs from the M5 group stage. Both teams refine in terms of the roster, some changes, some adjustments, but for the better as well. Both teams used to be champions of their own regions. Team Spirit, the recent one for EECA, for the MCC at least. Though, as a start, I personally am going to look at both Sabo and Zorn. This Romans, they're going to have a lot of duty to get the junglers a hit.
So, especially since we are looking at the fact that we do have Sour that's playing as a Tigreal, they do have a pretty good answer to Homeboy's death ball game, and it is indeed going to be that counter engage kind of gameplay that they want. And with Kid Bomba onto Arlott as well, they do have that initiating factor that they can play around with. So it's pretty damn scary with what Team Spirit can do in terms of initiating in a team fight. Homeboys gotta have to really keep an eye out of things and make full use of Zorn's capability to open up the map and really keep a lookout of where Kid Bomba as well as Sour will always be.
Yep. Making sure that Chibi gets fed as well, right? He would have went for the recall, but allowed Chibi to come in. Waits for the purple buff next, because Turtle is going to be on the top side, so slightly favoring Chibi. If they want to go for the rush, they can, but obviously for the Ling, you want that buff first. Zorn will be able to absorb some XP in the mid side.
They definitely gonna have to bide their time a little bit. But in the meantime, Zorn here will slowly get himself to level 4 while Team Spirit prepares themselves and postures for the turtle fight.
Zorn's gonna be chunked down low, Retribution. Forced out, Chibi, he needs the purple buff, and now better edge against Jules. Good penalty zone on the 2, followed by a Tempest of Blaze. And alongside with Angela, Heart is first blood over to the side of Udil. Back Marl, control, Primal Wrath, use Kid Bomba, flickers away, and a counter kill for Marl. On to the side of Homeboy. Chibi wants to run away, Marl leaps over the wall, transforms back into human form, and just gets a double kill for himself. Supa looking to run away, but Marl comes in, looks for collection, finds the Lycan House, triple kill for Marl.
Yikes! Of course, giving the snowball factor over to Marl is not what we wanted to see, as I was really expecting and hoping that Homeboys would just kind of bide their time and not deliver themselves over to Team Spirit. But now that they kind of delivered the 3 kills over to Marl, it is gonna be a little bit tough for to really stop this Roger in the next few minutes from now.
This is what do we call the worst case scenario, right? Marl just got the Wind Talker as well. Gets the Wind Talker, gets a triple kill, gets a turtle. Majority of the gold lead Team Spirit has definitely all in the back of this Roger.
Yeah, so the Homeboys, yes, they do have the battery. You know, the typical battery between the Angela as well as the Ling. We expect quite a lot. And looking at the replay, we have a very good idea what they want to do. But Chibi doesn't really have a lot of HP to work around with throughout the entirety of that fight. And Udil didn't have a lot of mana to work with as well to really keep Chibi up and alive throughout the entire fight. So a lot of DPS loss. But that was just one fight. Hopefully they will be able to climb back a little bit stronger for the next upcoming one.
Hard guard expiring as well. We've always, at least in MPL Malaysia, we always have this pet peeve of why are we putting playmaking mid laners on an Angela? It feels like one of those moments, right? Like, yeah, you can only kind of protect a teammate. You see Sabo though, good flip, looking for the crowd control, implosion committed. Chibi waiting assistance from the hard guard, gonna get it from Udil right now. Still wants to dive Sabo. Sabo flickers. They commit the Tempest of Blaze and a couple of dashes around. Sabo finally gets picked up, and Chibi also makes a full retreat.
He's gonna be fine and dandy. So That was a very comical play just to get the kill onto Sawo. I mean, it's a good thing because Homebois didn't lose anyone. In the meantime, it's definitely a lot more aggression coming in from Team Spirit while they want to keep Marl on the curve. As much as possible, he's already gotten 3 kills. He's currently at level 8 as compared to Chibi at level 7. As long as they get themselves a good amount of river control, they should be able to generally push Homebois away. And as long as Team Spirit makes a good trade and the right trades, they will constantly be able to be snowballing and keeping Homebois checked.
You also have to be very careful, right? Because they have the final slash, which can always catch you. As I say that, final slash goes wide. So Homebois at least know that the Arlen doesn't have the ultimate. Not willing to commit to the turtle dance either.
It's a short cooldown, so it's not that big of a deal, I suppose. But 2-3 current scoreline, and Team Spirit, they do have about 800 gold lead on top of Homebois, with the turtle currently standing up tall at the top lane. Both teams, they are trying to bide their time a little bit. Understandably, Team Spirit is the one that controls the fight, or rather controls the pace of the game for now.
Homebois, they always have that insurance policy, which is going to be the Claude. When you go to that late game.
Takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. And Hiko sees him. That's going to cut the wave as well. So Team Spirit, they're going to get priority over the turtle again. Both goal laners are going to respectively cut the waves.
I would say that Homebois, as much as possible, they do have very strong split push potential. But unfortunately, it's not exactly that early whereby they can play all of these split pushes. In the meantime, top lane.
Chibi, again, Hargon on top of him, looking for Kid Bomba. Kid Bomba dashes with the Vengeance to heal back out with the Demon Mark. And his Zorn is forced to retreat. Good penalty zone goes Supa to catch Mar and Kid Bomba on the edge, but they cannot get the kill. Kid Bomba still survives, finally dies thanks to Nets. The commitment from Homebois had to be astounding for that to happen.
Wow! The macro play coming in from Homebois, and they are just coming in one after another, being a surprise one after another as well. Team Spirit definitely did not expect that, because Team Spirit, it seems like they are able to roll along with it. They are able to get, they are almost able to get Chibi, and then suddenly, boom, Support came out of nowhere, and then they are about to get Support, then boom, Nets came out of nowhere. Homebois, they've got each other's backs, and I think that that is just the beauty of Homebois for that previous fight.
I gotta say, that could have gone a lot worse, right? They only lost Kid Bomba because Kid Bomba survived for way longer than he should have. Homebois is still getting that kill, I think, going over to Nets. That is always going to be great. Udio takes care of the bottom wave, can always join with the hard guard. Homebois is catching up. In terms of the net worth, right, they're under 2,000 deficit, so within an arm's reach.
Definitely manageable at this point, especially since we are kind of sub 10 minutes into the game. The only thing that we have lost is currently bottom lane for Seer, but in the meantime, Sawo.
Implosion only on the Zorn, pushes him back with a Sacred Hammer. Zorn can't even use the Primal Wrath, so Mega Kill given over to Marl. Team Spirit able to at least feed this Roger well. 4-0 so far.
I gotta say, the wave clear coming from Homebois is looking to be pretty nice, actually. They've been defending their middle lanes pretty effectively, especially since Zorn has been up and about all the time, but middle lane...
Final Slash was used. Nets BMI's out, did not have to use the Purify, so not much was lost, but Team Spirit did crack the mid tier 1. That means the map now opened up for Team Spirit.
Right as I was talking about the fact that they could clear waves pretty effectively. Zorn unfortunately lost his life for that fight. As such, they wasn't able to really repel Team Spirit away. As such, all of the first tier turrets has already been taken down, unfortunately, and now Team Spirit will have a very good control over the river. That river domination ultimately is going to help Team Spirit in more of a snowball factor. And Marl haven't seen a death just yet. And unfortunately, I think that this is the point in time where Marl will just continue, keep on going on and on.
Want to full-on commit onto Hiko, but he's healing up. Brace my Festival of Blood. So hard to take him down, and Nets still has the Purify. He's going to use it. Forced out by the Implosion. Marl joins the fight. Zorn becomes the target. Penalty zone! Flicker from Supa on a tree! And Chibi is going to jump into the fight. Final Slash from the side of Kid Bomba to catch Nets, but Marl has already gone down. Shut down by Chibi. Team Spirit wants to continue fighting, but Homebois will say hasta la vista. They are out.
That's definitely good initiations coming in from Team Spirit, being able to catch down onto Nets and forcing out the Purify. Homebois, although they definitely did react very promptly, and they do have very good counter engage kind of answers over to Team Spirit. But the quick fingers coming in from Kid Bomba essentially just stopping Nets right on his feet when he comes down to the Blazing Duet. Homebois just lost so much damage throughout the entire team fight. It could have been so much more worse for Team Spirit if not for Kid Bomba.
Yeah, Kid Bomba, you know, nothing has changed. This man still the kryptonite for Homebois with his plays. First Lord is up. Homebois looking to fish for some info, but the only team that can fish better than Homebois is Team Spirit with the tools that they have. So they're gonna take the priority over this Lord pit.
The one fishing would be Hiko. The unoffended is the one thing that we gotta have to look out for Homebois, because the one that can really open up the map is gonna be Zorn as well as Sapat. So do we want Zorn to really engage and be super committal with his Earth Shatter plus Flicker combination to catch someone? Would they be able to even do anything at that point in time?
I mean, Kid Bomba is playing distraction back. Sapat finds a penalty zone. It's a two-way fight on two different ends. Sapat does go down, but Chibi found a kill on tomorrow, and this should be Lord for Homebois. A double kill for him as Zorn takes the Lord away. Savo chased down by Nets. Homebois finds a wipeout against Team Spirit.
A triple kill for to the hands of Chibi. They even gotten the Lord. That is massive coming in from Homebois. Really great play throughout. It seems as though Sapat was in a really tight spot, being hooked up coming from Hiko, but it seems like it was all in their game. We've got Chibi and Zorn just preparing to come in from the back, and we've got so much attention just tunnel visioning onto Sapat. Team Spirit used so much just to bring down this one Terizla, and the moment that Zorn as well as Chibi comes out, they don't have an answer to Chibi anymore.
And remember what we talked about, the Lord changes, right? The Lord was helping Homebois batter Team Spirit with the true damage. Zorn does get caught. Final slash from Kid Bomba. Implosion committed by Sapat against finds the back. The force Sunset Lovers flicker out. Chibi with the Tempest of Blaze. Kid Bomba and Savo both go down. And Team Spirit not able to hold back Homebois. The leading time for Udo also helping Homebois stay in the fight longer. The Lost starts pummeling on the top inhibitor. Zorn is going to be pulled back, but the damage from Maro not enough. They're going to do it again. Hiko finds the hook, and that will be Zorn down. Team Spirit defends the base. Inhibitor will all be kept standing.
Very aggressive push from Homebois. They have put so much of their resources up in the top lane and really forcing things out of Team Spirit. And in fact, being able to get the kill down on the Kid Bomba as well as Sao at the cost of Zorn. I think that is absolutely massive. But especially since we're looking at a sub 12 minute Lord, they are able to bring down all of the outer turrets and even be able to bring the middle lane inhibitor down to a sliver. In fact, is barely standing up. So Homebois, they've got a great stand on Team Spirit, and I think that they just need to get one more good fight before the Lord, and they should be able to put the nail in the coffin onto Team Spirit.
Sapat is starting to become an issue as well. His penalty zones have been detrimental to Team Spirit, constantly catching the back line, and it's not like they can burst him down.
Oh, Zorn! Ooh.
Zorn does find Savo, not the ideal target that he wants to go for. Just wants some info. Team Spirit, at least they can drag it out until the next Lord, but you know, Link's Playground is when the map is open for business, and Chibi is going to have the luxury to do that.
Yep, he's just going to be getting Farm City. He's quite literally going to be playing Farmville for now for Chibi, and he's just going to be getting as much gold as he can right now. With 4,000 gold lead on top of Homebois, they have massively spread themselves throughout the entire map of Team Spirit's northern jungle. And they have a very good idea what they are trying to look out for, especially since the Lord is going to be popping down in the bottom lane. Applying all these pressure up in the top lane will require Team Spirit to take a lot more time to really respond to the Lord that will eventually appear in the bottom.
And Homebois have set up a side waves as well. The bottom one, I believe, is going to be neutral, but the top one will eventually push in their favor. And if you're Homebois, I don't think you're in a rush to take the Lord at any time. In fact, you can just constantly fish for Team Spirit.
I need to have everyone keep their eye up in the top lane, because that is an Angela that will be pushing up in the top lane. Having global presence, he can actually just hard guard on the Chibi anytime he wants. So that is going to be a constant pressure from Homebois onto Team Spirit's top lane, and Team Spirit, they have to respond to that. We also need to remember that we have a Ling, we have a Claude. They can respond to every one of these lanes and be back for the Lord's fight in the nick of time.
Flicker, Earth Shatter, the counter engage from the side of Kid Bomba. Chibi reaches the back line, Sapai will be taken down, but it's just immortality as Homebois finds the jugular of Team Spirit. 4 in a row is Chibi with a triple kill, and Hiko not to stand. Maniac for Chibi, and Homebois in a blink of an eye deliver first blood in this best of 2 against Team Spirit. EECA will taste defeat for the first time in a long time under the hands of Homebois.
Very clean, precise plays coming from Homebois. They understand that the early game is just not quite their game, even though they have, of course, the Ling and the Angela battery to keep Ling alive for longer periods of time. But late game is where the game really starts for Homebois. A full open map is just the playground of Ling, and the moment that they are able to execute that split push pressure, that the opponents will be dancing on the palm of their hands. They have so many ways that they can hold on to the lanes. And the moment that they see the rubies in the top lane dealing with the creeps, that is where Homebois is just gonna floor it, full throttle in and engage on whoever they see.
And we've kind of talked about this, right? Homebois, they are the scariest when they are ahead. They are the scariest when they are confident. And I think this fight is definitely kind of a turning point. Homebois getting the lore and almost a full wipeout onto Team Spirit afterwards. Chibi was just out of control. Really nothing much the Team Spirit could do at that point. If Mara goes down, they just run out of damage.
Yeah, so Homebois, they just eventually just racked up in all of these items and of course winning in all of these objectives. I think the one thing that Team Spirit didn't really make full use of is Marl's advantage in the early stages. To get a triple kill onto a Roger that early in the game, it definitely is supposed to be a lot of a bigger hit over to Homebois. But unfortunately, I think that they managed to hit a bit of obstacles here and there and wasn't really able to fully utilize the amount of gold that has been funneled over to Roger to really just kick up a fuss.
Yep, and I think, Homeboys did a very good job of, stopping the Rogers while recovering. Or like, okay, we kind of fumble on the first objective, but it's not the end of the world. Just let GB farm, let Nets farm. Eventually, we're going to have enough damage to overcome Team Spirit. And my personal MVP, gotta give it to Sapat though. Now, Chibi's been racking up the kills. Udio has been supporting him for sure, but Sapat's sets with the penalty zone was really what made life hard for Team Spirit in these fights.
It's always the crucial timing coming in from the penalty zone. They come in at the perfect time, and I gotta have to say, we gotta have to give it over to him. However, though, we do have Chibi that did manage to get a Maniac, so we cannot completely dispel that. Thus, in earning him the match MVP.
Yeah, the first pick Ling, this is how you made it work. I think Team Spirit, I feel like they know that this Ling pick is coming, but they just were not able to kind of really stop the choo-choo train from Chibi, right? We've seen this first pick Ling even in the wild cards, and Chibi has been tearing up a storm, and he's still doing the same. We're seeing even the emblems and the talents, right? Warcry, Monster Hunter, and even Fatal. So it's just full-on raw damage on top of some extra farming speed for Chibi, and he's able to make use of it.
I mean, it's understandable. Going full-out damage, especially since if they manage to score an Angela on themselves, they pretty much have got the game in their pockets already. They know what they're trying to do, and they will be able to just force Team Spirit in such an uncomfortable scenario whereby they want to play as a death ball, they want to play together as one, especially since they have so much heroes that plays as a setup. But one thing that they probably lack over to the late stages of the game is damage. They don't have anyone that can really do too much into the later stages, and especially when it comes down to a gold lane Ruby, they don't have someone that can really have that kind of high ground that they truly wanted. And losing out in team fights is probably just the lack of damage, although they can drag out team fights for an extended period of time with all the crowd control that they have on their lineup.
Yeah, I think Homeboys definitely feeling really good about themselves, but whereas for the side of Team Spirit, the Cho band, maybe you have to consider letting it through because there are a lot more prior picks, but we're going to let the teams deliberate amongst themselves. I'm pretty sure Team Spirit are not out of it just yet. There's still a chance to fight back. We're going to head for a short break. When we come back, Game 2 between Team Spirit and Homeboys will commence.
absolute shit. I'm so sorry for
Welcome back to MSC 2024, happening in conjunction with the Esports World Cup. We are here in our third match of the day, and it's between Team Spirit and Homebois, with Homebois taking game number 1 in a convincing fashion. Game 2 coming up in just a little bit for the commentators, Msc, alongside with a guy whose name is not real, but he's real after all. It's abstract.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I gotta have to say that the very first game of this series has been definitely a banger. Of course, nail biting for Homebois, because when it comes down to the early stages of the game, I was hoping that they will be able to bide their time and just kind of play things slow, completely leave out all these objectives and try to look for traits elsewhere, such as looking for kills in the gold lane due to the superior mobility as well as the global presence that we can expect from the Angela. However, they went all in, not say all in, but they did try to challenge for the turtle and unfortunately yielded 3 kills over to Marl, which we would thought would be the death of Homebois. But fortunately for Homebois, it doesn't seem like Marl managed to take advantage of that 3-kill lead.
Yeah, and I think it also, on the side of Homebois, right, Udio also looks very comfortable being back on the international stage. Last time, his last rodeo, in fact, was M2, right? He finished 4th. He was the champion of MSC 2019. That was kind of the Kage era where he was with, with people like Sasa, people like Anti-Mage, people like Dyron. So, been so long. So, it's good to see Spicy Boy back on the stage as well. I think Homebois in game 1, very dominating. But now, I think I personally I will shift my attention to Team Spirit. I want to see how they adjust from game 1.
Indeed. I think that we are back over to understanding how Team Spirit usually plays, and of course what have been what is kind of like the history of Team Spirit, right? Especially since we have saw them in the previous international appearance in M5. They did manage to get themselves 4th place, although they didn't do that with Hiko around, unfortunately. But still, Hiko is still a very big player that we gotta have to look out for, right? We did definitely saw how he played in game number 1, but hopefully game number 2 would be a lot more dominating, right? Especially since the first game is already done with them losing 1 point. I think that it would be really sad to see our previous M5 4th place team go off in the group stage, and I think that it will definitely jerk some tear over to the fans of Team Spirit.
It's more of kind of the tip of the spear for EECA now, facing a potential 0-2 loss, right? I mean, we've talked about Hiko and Marl, especially Hiko, young star. This is kind of like his first big stage, and you look at the accolades that Homebois have under the belt. I think they've been here multiple times. They're used to the pressure. And when Homebois are feeling really good about themselves, that's where they are the deadliest. And so I think for this game 2, with Homebois still on that blue side, I want to see Team Spirit really utilize the counterpick potential that they would have on red side to deal with Homebois. Because, I mean, I think just don't ban the Cho, right? I feel like Cho isn't the pick that's going to lose you, that's going to win Homebois the game.
It will definitely be pivotal, but like you said, not exactly one of the main win conditions. But Team Spirit will still disregard that and go on to go for that Cho ban, giving a lot of respect over to Zorn. As such, we do have Valentina that is currently available to be picked, but Homebois have decided to immediately first pick onto the Claude, onto our friend here in Nets.
Yeah, we've been saying that Nets' Claude is kind of his signature, is one of his best pick, but not many teams first pick a Claude, so Homebois is one of the few rare ones, considering, like you mentioned, there are Valentina up on the table, Luo Yi even, which would have been a first pick for Homebois, you know, during NPL MY, but they've definitely moved past that. Even the lane is let through, right? So Homebois switching it up. They're like, we have so many prior picks for Team Spirit to choose from. What are you going to go for, right? Regardless of what you pick, we're going to get something in return.
They're spoiled for choices now, but they will prioritize onto the Ling as well as the Valentina. Understandably so, you know. We did manage to see Marl being pretty darn scary when it comes down to playing as the as the Roger with early kills. And I think that if they are able to replicate that again onto the Ling, I think that they are definitely going to have a very good game all the way from the early to the late stages of the game. But with these two picks, I think that Homebois will be able to posture themselves up pretty nicely to really understand what could be the main answers to really deal with this Valentina pick. Because they gotta have to be receptive to this. Do they really want to give such big ultimates over to Sunset Lover to make such pivotal games and pivotal plays? Or do we want to look at small little usages, such as maybe Loi being thrown right in? There's that you can use with the diversion, except for, you know, getting some information or going for some very cheeky plays.
Now we can see the Terizla and Arlet again, so this is going to be Arlet for Zorn. A lot of setup for the side of Homebois, and again, Arlet, one of the best part about him is that he has incredibly high base damage, even in the roam role at level 1, something that can be deadly, you know, if you don't check yourself on the side of Team Spirit. But at least we know that the Edith now ceases to be a consideration for Homebois because it is also one of their power picks. Ruby will be the choice for Team Spirit again, but considering that it is a Ling jungle, this Ruby is most likely going to be either Roam or XP.
I would say that is likely... oh man, it's actually kind of tough. I mean, we already have got Valentina with pretty good lane priority. I mean, so if they even want to put... if they don't want to put Ruby on the roam, I think that that's completely fine. Sunset Lover will still be able to work with the mid lane pretty effectively. However, with the Ling in check here, I think that it is still nicer to see Kid Bomba play some other heroes that will be able to win against this Terizla to ensure that our support would not just roam around completely free, because we have seen the amount of impact that support has got in battles, countless of these battles. As such, picking heroes such as Yuzhong in the EXP lane to really win out against Terizla has got to be one of my favorite picks for them.
Absolutely. I mean, even right now, right? I think when you look at kind of Homebois trapped, and start betting on the Angela because it is what complements Ling the most. I personally would, as always, prefer the Ruby into the Terizla, but if Kid Bomba gets his hands on like a X-Borg or Benedetta or Paquito into Terizla, then Ruby roam would be nice as well.
I mean, send back Ruby in the EXP lane. I think that is good as well, as they can pretty much balance the EXP lane to the jungle. You always want to have one damage dealer, either or, with the EXP or the jungle. So Ruby in EXP, I'm totally down with that as well. So that will open up a lot more advantages for the roam role, where we can actually see Sao be able to pick a lot more big ultimate heroes. Unfortunately, Minotaur being taken away already, we still have Grok that is currently available to be picked.
Oh, so it's going to be the Aurora ban. Really trying to kind of climb down Udio's hero pool, but that means the Farsa gets let through. And there really isn't much that... I mean, since Team Spirit already has a Valentina, right? So I think Farsa going over to Udio isn't that bad of a choice as well. All this considered, I think right now for Homebois, they can just take the Farsa if they want. Either Farsa or Novaria. And then for the jungle, that's where Chibi Assassin picks ain't that bad.
I think Team Spirit would definitely be expecting the Farsa pick from Homebois. And yes, that would pretty much mean that Homebois will have the high ground advantage. At this point in time, Team Spirit don't have any high ground, so I would definitely be putting my money in the bag for a Beatrix being picked up from Hiko. In fact, we have normally always seen Hiko being first pick, and we will always want to see Hiko being prioritized for his lane picks. But this time it's completely different. It's completely off the script, but they do now have the advantage to play around with how they want this gold laner to be and how the gold laner's positioning is going to be against Homebois, who is stacked up for a death ball comp.
And I like the Damos pick as well. I completely forgot about that. Here we go.
Oh, Joy!
Joy. We saw that in the wildcards, and we talk about the far side as well for Udio. Very straightforward pick for Homebois. Very telegraphed. I felt like I know them like the back of my palm. But this Joy pick, assassin against assassin, you talk about big magic damage snowball. I mean, Homebois have it.
it's kind of tough to really draft against Homebois, isn't it? I mean, even when we want to answer an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, high ground for a high ground, putting a Beatrix in Team Spirit might actually be relatively difficult because there is just so many counters. We are looking at a Joy, we have a Joy, we have a Rizla, and as well as Ala. They all can just jump onto this Beatrix, no issues. So honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if we are to see the Ruby going into the gold lane again, just so that the gold lane would not be heavily prioritized in terms of being killed over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now, for the side of Team Spirit, they're gonna go for the Tigro again. So second time coming for Savo. I mean, so there's been a change to Joy's ultimate, right? Electrifying Beaks no longer gives you CC immunity, but it doesn't mean that it's easy to catch her still, right? She's still mobile. She does get slow immunity though. I'm looking forward to see what Team Spirit could do, but I want to hear win conditions from you.
I gotta have to say that with the amount of aggressiveness coming in from Homebois, they are definitely gonna be all out trying to pick up fights and trying to go for pickoffs. So pickoff potential onto the members of Team Spirit is ultimately super important, and especially since late game looking at a Ruby in the gold, I think that going off to the late game, even for Homebois, they would be relatively happy about that. With such a death ball-y scenario for Homebois, I think that early game is gonna be good too.
I do worry for a lineup whenever it has a Ruby gold lane, which means that your other carries will have to really step up the game. So we'll see, game 2, Team Spirit against Homebois. We'll see if Homebois can deliver sweet revenge with a clean sweep. Zorn, as always, trying to force out the red tree from Mark. Gets it, no problem.
I definitely want to see Kid Bomba playing as a Thamus to really step up his game, because we know that Thamus is ultimately really strong at dueling. So as long as Kid Bomba constantly attack and damage over and over again, it is very tough for him to die, and he will be able to go off of very good trades against the opponents. That is, of course, with that all said and done, Thamus' main weakness is crowd control, which is something that Homebois does have quite a bit, you know, Sapat, especially with his penalty zone.
I mean, Zorn is just eating up all the damage as well. Thamus, he does scale off pretty hard as the later the game goes, right? He's strong for the first 10 to 12 minutes, especially when he has Vengeance. So we'll see if, I mean, how much can Kid Bomba do? It definitely relies on him to somehow get a lead. 30 more seconds until the first turtle spawns, and Chibi is gonna be right on the mark with the timing.
Yep. Down in the EXP lane, it's definitely gonna be a pretty boring game because both of them is always gonna be hiding. They don't want to give any free kills over to their opponent's side. You don't want to recall in this kind of dire situation, especially since the turtle is gonna be popping out in 10 seconds. Your presence is very much expected to make a very big mark in the battles. Especially since Team Spirit, they play a lot on crowd control. Hiko as well as Sawo, they need to find a lot of these damage output coming in from someone else. And in this case, it has to be Kid Bomba as well as Sunset Lover in the early stages of the game.
I mean, the first turtle up as well. He's not in a rush to get the objectives up, but it's going to be jumped on by Kid Bomba, but the damage not there just yet. Udio also arriving to provide assistance. And clearly, you can see both assassins not really prioritizing the turtle as much. Sabo will not able to get the push, and final slash from Zorn also goes wide. Both support not able to find a catch just yet.
With that final slash actually being used, Team Spirit understandably would want to take a little bit more of that turtle control, just so that they know it's not gonna be that big of a problem anymore. But Team Spirit's Ling is actually quite a fair bit away from the objective. So Team Spirit, I think they are trying to look for something else here. They might have something more interesting.
Ness actually saw him as well, but Maru's gonna use the time penalty zone use. Chibi gets the turtle, and it's going to be just everyone on top of Sapat, and that is just first blood going over to Udio. A double kill for him as well. The artillery strikes just too devastating.
Sunset Lover picking up that feathered airstrike definitely been quite devastating to Homebois, but not quite enough, I gotta have to say. 2-1 is the current scoreline, and Homebois do have 1,000 gold advantage. In the meantime, Udil almost going down.
Blazing duet from Ness also. Sunset Lover actually goes down, so Net picks up a kill. That could not have gone any better.
So with that all said and done, top lane, they are still going at it.
And Maro now is the next target, gets clipped by the final slash, and Chibi finds that kill.
It's just all about aggression from Homebois. And luckily, they are playing that out. They're constantly trying to look up for these kind of pick potentials and trying to go for kills over and over and over again. But it really relies a lot onto Zorn. His movements have got to be on par. And Team Spirit, I think that Team Spirit is just lacking onto that mirror capability, whereby Sawo is not exactly trying to look out for where Zorn is, especially since Zorn is one of the main playmakers of Homebois. If you're able to see where Zorn is constantly going about, you can actually avoid a lot of very potential team fights that would catch the side lanes off guard.
I think right now it's also, Homebois in the zone as well. And that means that they can only get deadlier. Even Chibi finding Maro, right? Winning that by Sabo, sucks him in with the implosion, but there's no follow-up. Still a better airstrike. Is it going to be enough? Well, seems like it is sufficient. They pick up the kill on the Chibi. Maro gets out as well. Higo able to find a catch onto Zorn, reel him in. Zorn flickers, vengeance, heals back up in time. The great escape of Zorn, both teams trading one.
Really crazy movements coming from Zorn. The only one that went down, understandably, is going to be Chibi. And Homebois have managed to get a good amount of trade on top of Team Spirit. And the turtle is still up right now. So one turtle to the side of Homebois, and this upcoming turtle is understandably going to be quite a big mark to Team Spirit if they want to get themselves back into the game and really be able to contest against Homebois. Especially since we're looking at a jungler for Marl, currently at level 8 and Chibi at level 9. It will be a tougher challenge for Team Spirit if Homebois Chibi is just going to be around.
And his own catching Kid Bomba and Savo. Zorn able to keep everyone away. Chibi gets the turtle and now better strike artillery support from Udil to find a kill onto Savo. Kid Bomba in the midst of things, tried to tank it all up. Sunset Lover with his own better airstrike was not enough. Kid Bomba ends up going down without much in return. Hiko chased down to the ends of the earth. Nets finds a double kill. And Subba just stands there and takes the beating. He doesn't even go down. And Chibi once more. Maro, he is not safe at all. Loses everything. Homebois finds 4 kills.
Now, with that 4 kills and with the current positioning of where Homebois is, they are definitely going to be getting a free bottom lane tier 1, and that is understandably going to further accentuate the amount of gold that Homebois have got in their pockets. Team Spirit not having a great time in the early game, and understandably based on their lineup, they're not exactly a team that will be extremely happy into the late stages too.
I mean, when you look at this replay, right, Team Spirit, Maro, he was looking for the perfect opportunity. Well, Sunset Lover was looking for the perfect opportunity to use the ult, but Maro just does not have the health to fight. And Chibi just got a Sky Piercer, so good luck surviving 10,000 volts from this Pikachu. Gonna completely just one-shot you. Not really sure how Team Spirit is gonna deal with that though, now that the current ultimate for Joy does not have fall-off damage, so it's gonna hurt even more.
9-2 is the current scoreline. Team Spirit, they want to look for more of these kills and these advantages, especially since their killing potential comes in from Marl and Kid Bomba in the later stages. Sunset Lover, especially picking up that Feathered Airstrike, is one of the main name of the game that we want for the early team fights.
Kid Bomba forces out the Vengeance, but again catches the bag, and Ness is just gonna come in. It is a duet. This dance, bit too beautiful. Chibi dies, but Team Spirit loses 4 again.
So with 4 down for the second time, we do have at least Marl trying to go for a trade for what they have lost already. So at least the tier 1 in the bottom lane is taken down. Marl is still trying to look for external ways to get themselves income. Since teamfight is not something that they can get their income anymore, it gotta have to be from waves, it gotta have to be from money bags from the turrets.
Even Final Slash to force out Marl's Tempest of Blade. Just gets purple buff though at least. Homebois will get the turtle for sure. I don't see Team Spirit contesting them in any capacity. In the driver's seat though, like what, 4,000 gold lead for Homebois right now.
Team Spirit, they don't have a lineup that once again is all that amazing in wave clear. They do have Hiko with the wave clear though. I mean, understandably, if Hiko have decided to build up onto the Sea Halberd and a little bit more of damage items, they can clear wave pretty okay. But it all boils down to time. Hiko as a Ruby with 0 kills, 2 deaths and 1 assist, how far of an item can he actually get for himself? But in the meantime, we do have the replay coming up. Once again, it's always been Tspirit. Tspirit's ultimate and all the penalty zones is always super crucial. That breaks apart Team Spirit's lineups. And whenever they wanted to do something, Tspirit comes in and puts a break to all of that.
He is a hidden MVP for sure, right? His sets have been immaculate. Homeboy is taking control of almost the entire map. Maro trying to pick up scraps, obviously, to get a split push going and make sure that Homeboys always have ways that they need to fix. So what do we do with it? But I think Ness knows that Maro's in there. The Art of Thievery stops the recall. Maro is foul. Tempest of Blaze just to get invulnerability, but stunned on the end. The tip of the spear from Zorn is just lethal.
Oh boy, not how you want to end your life. Not being able to jump from obstacles to obstacles. Was hoping that his recall will be able to go off well, but that map control as well as those just Nets doing Nets things, I gotta have to say. He have very good idea of where his opponents is, and boy oh boy, Homeboys, they may actually be able to get a very convincing 2-1 off of Team Spirit.
Yeah, this 2-0 looking more and more realistic. Homeboys 14-3 so far. Lord coming up, but I don't see how Team Spirit can even contest the Lord, right? We're starting to get to the stage of the game where this Damos is going to eventually have a sprinter drop off. You know, he's like someone who ages rapidly, right? He's very strong when he's in his youth, but he also falls off very, very quickly.
Especially since as a Thamus, you want to hit in order to not die. It's very counterintuitive, but that is literally the kit of a Thamus. So if you're unable to stay alive even with your Quadrant Inferno and just hammering away with your corrosive side, what more can you do? The only thing that you can do is do a couple of damage and then you die a horrible death. So Team Spirit, they gotta have to find ways to really keep Kid Bomba alive, and that idea really boils down to all the burst amount of damage that Kid Bomba have to suffer, meaning Udil as well as Chibi. These two magic damage dealers really need to go, but I don't think that Team Spirit really have an answer to these two at this point in time.
I mean, unless Maro can get to the back line and kind of one-shot them, right? Or Hiko finds a good catch, but even then, it's a lot to ask for. Mid-tier 2 under siege. Homeboys, Team Spirit wants to hold on to the structure, but it's just not feasible. And even Maro, he has to give up top side a little bit, right? He's doing his best to keep that minion wave under control, but Tspirit is just going to cut the wave as well. So top side is going to be equalized, but Homeboy still sieging in the mid and bot.
So with the Lord just gonna be pledging down to the bottom lane and Udil using up the feathered airstrike, Homeboys is posturing themselves to get a inhibitor down in the bottom lane, and Team Spirit can't even come in to stop all of that. So it's really an unfortunate situation from Team Spirit, but at least one thing that they can do is to bring down this baby Lord, which doesn't have a charge, and Homeboys have got more than just a bonus out of this Lord.
I think the saddest thing for Maro is that, okay, wait, Zorn, well, figures safety, but yeah. I think the saddest thing for Maro is, as much as he tries to pressure the wave top side, it gets cut by Homeboy, so he ends up getting nothing, and he's gonna lose his tier 2 after so long, after all that effort. Conceal from Homeboys as well. Zorn looking for a pick, ain't gonna find it though. Again, flick a penalty zone on the 2. Tspirit splits the fight apart, and Nets, he's able to get out, and Hiko in the midst of things. Implosion gets used by Savo, but the electrocution from Chibi is just way too strong. 10,000 votes and 2 kills for Homeboys.
And now even the bottom lane's mega creeps just marching in and threatening the throne. So Homeboys will take this middle lane.
Final slash onto Maro. Tempest of Blaze forced out. Nets is just face fighting Sunset Lover. And Team Spirits are gonna be the ones not be able to see Sunset victory so far away. And Homeboys looking to exact revenge. Kid Bomba next to go. A wipeout in front of the base. Homeboys finds revenge and serves it up too cold, too old to Team Spirit.
What are we looking at? Sea supremacy? We are looking at Homeboys being able to get a 2-0 on top of Team Spirit, and in the previous